All right. What I want to review with you today is how Odoo can be leveraged to add value to service companies. So last we spoke about your project, absolutely digital. It's a tricky name. I mentioned to you how you'll be able to look at using Odoo as an integrated system to work with sales, invoicing, projects, tasks, and then I'll obviously have everything roll up into accounting. So in order to show you how this all works from a high level, I'm going to walk through a few apps here. What you're looking at is Odoo's launch screen. Everything I'm doing is through a browser. You can see up here I just created this demo this morning. Up here you'll have some different tools. This is activities plan. This will allow you to have chats internally within the company between groups or even just individual persons who are working for you, direct chats. This is a little customization tool, and this is where your login will be. I'm logged in as Mitch Bossy. So, first place I like to start when reviewing this is the contacts page. This is going to house all of your contacts. Obviously, you'll be able to, search through contacts. We have a few things, pre-loaded filters here. We could look at tags, for instance, say 30 to 50 employees. It would show us that. Or you can just search the name of the contact. It will show you that. And if we go into a contact, what you're looking at here is our customer 360. You're going to see any opportunities in the sales pipeline, meetings, sales that have been done, tasks that you're currently working on for this customer, and the total amount invoiced thus far. If you drill into any one of these, it will bring it right up. As you can see, we'll be looking at that sale order right from John Doe's contact page. See it, again, all timesheets associated with this sale order, project overview, tasks, and then invoice. If we go back, you can click back up here. Breadcrumb trail makes it very easy from a user interface, user experience perspective. Land back here on the contact page. Again, we want to look at invoices. You'll see the invoice that was just completed. Drill into this. You can see the timesheets that these invoice line items are related to. Drill into like journal entries. So you can see how fast you can move around the system without having to really worry about going to different systems like a lot of traditional softwares force you to do. You'll have your timesheet and your project in one system, your accounting data in another, your contacts in another. That can become extremely inefficient. What you're looking at here is also just generic information related to this contact that we can fill in. Tags, you can create your own tags on the fly, just like that, and this will help you better keep organized and better isolate certain contacts based on certain criteria. Here you'll have phone, mobile. You can send SMS messages right out of here, so long as you have it set up with your with the backend. Pretty simple. The email, website, etc. Internal notes, track sales and purchases, credit card, bank account information can be stored here in a PCI compliant way. And also then your accounting information for this contact, your accounts receivable and accounts payable for any accounting entries as it relates to John Doe. Studio, this is a tool. It is an extra $90 a month, but what it allows you to do is customize any interface in Odoo. So you can edit existing fields, you can drag and drop new fields. So for instance, if we want to create a selection field, drag it, drop it here. Customer type, we could say distribution, wholesale, or retail, or manufacturing. And just like that, it'll embed that new field right on the actual record. Click it, we can rename it. We can name it customer type or customer industry. At that point, we'll rename it, save it, and we'll be able to quickly select a customer industry for this contact. And just like that, of course, these fields are going to be dynamic as well. So we can group by, as you can imagine, customer industry. And it'll show us here all of our contacts broken out by industry. When it comes to mailing campaigns or any marketing, things like that, it's going to be nice to be able to quickly isolate all contacts given some specific criteria or specific characteristic about them, such as customer industry, and to be able to such as merge them into a mail campaign or send them some newsletters or some offer them some promotion or discount it'll make your life a lot easier in that perspective. Lastly, what I want to talk about, and I'll bring it up here on the side, is our chatter. So every record that you see in Odoo is going to have a chatter associated to it. Why? The purpose of the chatter is to track all historical actions as it relates to any particular document in our system. So not only that, you can see when I created this record, but you can also send messages out to John Doe at this email right from the system. It'll track that, and if John Doe responds to this message, of course, it will track John Doe's response as well. Do keep in mind that you must initiate any contact that you have with a client out of the system in order for it to keep track of that in the system. And we'll see here, if I look at the email here, I can see I just received that email from Mitch Bossy. Hey, I can respond, hi there. And we'll wait for that to land. Up here. So in the meantime, while that's loading, let's just refresh the page. Hi there, and you can see it collects it. So sending messages, you can also log internal notes. This is one of my favorite tools in the system. The reason for this is because it allows you to have more of a streamlined communication with your contacts or with your internal employees. So this is going to be more useful on like a task. So if we have maybe there's in a services company, maybe there's someone who's handling more of the functional business analyst type tasks, and then you have someone who's more technical. A lot of times those two parties are going to have to work together, and you're going to be collaborating on a lot of the same jobs or on the same material. You're going to be able to tag that colleague, send them a note, and it will actually send them both an email as well as a notification in the system that there's been a note sent to them, and it'll obviously have the content of that note displayed, and it'll provide them with a little button, as I can show you here. Just as an example, if I look at my colleague Dara, or this colleague Richard, he was sending me internal notes in the system. You see at my name, and then because I also work for Odoo and I have access to this database, it says view task, and I can quickly just go right from my Gmail, and it will bring me right into my actual Odoo internal instance and show me the task that we were working on, as well as all the historical communication associated and time-stamped, all that. So that's how that works. Great tool. As far as the scheduling activities go, you can schedule yourself activities. Make sure to follow up, and that will actually schedule. You'll see up here now we have one. We can see on a contact I have one that's due today, and I did one earlier. Mark is done. So with that, you can also add followers to contacts or any record here, as you can see, and then when you send messages out, it will send it to all followers of this particular record. So that is, and it'll be down here. So depending on the size of your screen, you can adjust where it sits. So that's the contact. Now, what I want to get into is pretty much right into the weeds here in terms of how we can manage work for a services company. First thing I want to look at is the CRM tool. Pretty straightforward. You have a CRM pipeline here where you can track all of your opportunities. John Doe interest. You can see we can specify an expected revenue, and we can create that. It automatically adjusts the value of the opportunity per the stage here. As I move this through, it will eventually obviously go to 1. You can edit columns here, spec drawn, just like that. You can embed it in any point of the workflow. We can go in here and we can edit the stages so that we can look at requirements. Is it folded? Change probability automatically, things like that. And just to give you an idea, you can also look at this through a list view, group by such as salesperson and stage. So as you can imagine, you'll have you have multiple salespeople at one point. You can quickly understand how their pipelines look and what expected revenues are, and drill in that way. You can set expected closings in order to have more accurate insights into when you're expecting new business to come in and how much that new business is worth. You can also see your different stages up here, and you can move them at any point, just like that. And it will track everything in the chatter, including when it was created, stage moves, and timestamp per employee. And again, you'll have full chatter functionality here. So if I send message, again, it will go to John Doe at this email, and I can start a new thread for John Doe based on this lead opportunity. Now, as far as the workflow is concerned, we can easily create a new quotation right from here. Just like that, right from the actual app. We can set an expected expiration date, and we can add a product here. We'll add the consulting, and maybe we'll do 10 hours of consulting services at $89, and then we'll have a tax of 15% to give us a total of $1,023.50. So you can also assign a quotation template here, but you're going to want to add your template before you add your hours. Reason being, sometimes templates can have pre-loaded products associated with them. So I could say every time I select this template, automatically update the sale order to contain these products. So that's why that rule exists, and hence why you just saw that little discrepancy there. So I can save this. I'm able to send this out directly to John Doe by email, as I can see, and I'll actually send it out. It will track that in the chatter, just like that. And if I actually go back to my Gmail, I'll see here it is. Here's your online quote. John Doe can actually open that up. Here I'm looking at this this online quote. I can see for my consulting services, and John Doe can sign, accept, and pay. So thank you, your order has been confirmed. Now, what does that mean for you on the back end? Oops. Up here we are. On the back end, this is a, restart this. We'll see here. Everything automatically sale order gets confirmed. We can see the signature John Doe left here. You can see when the task was created. So I have it set up so that it'll automatically create a new project and a new task so that we can now work on John Doe's project. So without even touching anything, your services part of the company will have a new task created for sale order number 2 here for John Doe. And if I open this up, again, we'll see here the task that was automatically created as well. And if we want to look at that sale order, we can open it up right from here. There's the signature. So you can see I can move through the system again. But back to projects. So at this point, we have a new project that was created. You can look at the task in the project or an overview of the project. We'll see, from an overview perspective, we have a lot of different data that we can track, and I'll show you more on this once we get some actual information in the system. But most importantly, you'll be able to view your tasks, or of course you can change colors and high-level aesthetic stuff like that. If we look at this task, you're going to be able to, again, build out a project to manage the implementation of your services for this customer. So we can have a column for new. We'll say we have a column for development, for staging, testing, and deployment. Just like that. And we can drag and drop this, update our new pipeline, and you have a new pipeline in a matter of seconds to manage your project for John Doe. And this is where you can begin creating subtasks for this project. Not subtasks in the technical sense, but subtasks in the sense that you'll be able to begin to manually put together certain jobs that have to be done in order for this project to be to see completion. So you can just have a test task here, etc. If you'll go into one of these tasks, again, you can quickly rename it, consulting, whatever you'd like. You'll see who it's assigned to, the project it's in, the sale order item it's related to, the overview of the services that we offered. Again, and you can use these to track any notes related to this task. You can also have timesheets here. So we can see we sold the 10 hours, and you'll be able to development. Employees can log time manually here. We also have a timesheet app that they can use. or we can say 5 hours for now. So, an extra info, customer, email, and then if there's a parent task that is related to, and that's when we get into the technical word subtasks, which we can discuss in a little while. Actually, no, we can discuss it now. Subtasks allow you to have tasks essentially within tasks, so that all of any hours that you would, and they're structured the same, any hours that are documented on a subtask would roll up to the parent task, which is what we'd be looking at here. In this instance, if I created a new subtask and put parent task for that, and it will again feed into the overall consumption of the project. So we can save this. Again, everything tracked in a chatter. This is where, logging notes with colleagues can become interesting, etc. And we'll have our 2 tasks here. We can have development, and you'll be able to pretty much manage everything. You'll see through this list view. You can look at things through a calendar view to understand due dates and things like that on tasks, such as, let's go in here, edit this deadline for the 20th, and just like this, see we have something on the 20th due. You can also look at things through this. This allows you to see progress, total hours, remaining hours, hours spent, total subtask hours. So you can draw a whole bunch of data related to tasks, and hours and things like that. Assigned, when it was assigned. Perfect. So all this is exportable out to Excel as well. So here we have that. Now going back to our cells, we can see in orders up here we have, of course, cell order 2 is what we just did. It's still status to invoice. We can go orders to invoice here. We'll see that set order 2 is to invoice. At this point, we can send John Doe the invoice for the 10 hours that we sold him. We can do down payments, either fixed or by percentage, or just invoice specific lines, or invoice all lines and down payments. And just like that, it will draw up a draft invoice for us, product, subtotal, and I can validate that, and it'll post my journal entries automatically for me right here in my journal. And I can I'll go into the account it specifies, but journal is customer invoices. You can see the AR has been debited, and then the product sales was credited for the total. So this is how essentially at this point we've gone from CRM through a sale into projects and all the way into the accounting, as we can see with the invoicing tool here and the journal entries, all within a pretty seamless workflow. And that's kind of what's cool and neat about Odoo, is that everything is handled within a single space, and doesn't need you to build connectors to other spaces or manually, create projects and tasks and all that in other tools, and then manually ascribe the number of hours that you're billing for and the cost in an invoicing tool, and once that invoice gets paid, manually ascribe that recorded payment in an accounting tool. Everything is just handled in a single space. So with that, we have the invoice which has been created, and this is invoice 002. Now you can either register the payment manually here, or John Doe can go into his portal, which we'll see here. And you'll see I'm logged in as John Doe. Right here, I can view my account. John Doe Inc., all my information. If I have credit card information, I'd be able to adjust that in here as well. And John Doe can click on invoices, see invoice 002, that it's waiting payment. There's the total. And if I had again, my credit card information hooked up, I would be able to click a little pay now button here, and it would allow me to submit that payment and charge my own credit card without any real issue. You can open these invoices up, see exactly what's going on here, just like that. So, and again, if I manually register the payment and validate it, it will mark this as paid. I'll be able to look at other info, my journal entries. I will see in the reconciled entries, I'll see it's been reconciled, that payment, and it balances. Now, again, going from how that looks in the portal, you can open invoices, see both are marked as paid, no zero amount due. Okay, so that is the sales to invoicing. Just to finish up on project, if we go to an overview here, we're going to see here the timesheets, how much has been invoiced, minus taxes. I have $890, and then as far as the cost, it's $250 based on some. Actually, I have I can show you in a second. If I look at Mitch Bossy, the user I am, I have. This is just the timesheets, but I can see the time spent here by Mitch Bossy. I can see that the total profitability for this is $640. How do I get to that number? Again, I billed $890. It's been invoiced. There's nothing left to invoice. And the $250, if I look at my employees, Mitch Bossy, I pay Mitch Bossy $50 per hour, and I've worked, again, I've invoiced for 10 hours, but Mitch Bossy's only worked 5 hours, so 5 times 50 is $250, and that's how I get to my profitability for that project. Looking at an accounting application, again, we have all of our information here. We can look at our P&L and understand our operating income, product sales, and our GL. Everything is going to be documented here. Look at receivable, all that. So as everything feeds into the accounting automatically, you'll have more time to essentially focus on the things that matter, which is providing value to your end customer. And something that I didn't talk to you much about, but which is really helpful, is there's a help desk tool here, and it is especially valuable in a services environment. Reason being, especially if you're running a pretty lean shop, instead of having customers call you all day and say, oh, something happened here which went wrong, something happened here, you're going to be able to set up a form if you use Odoo's website tool, and that form will actually allow you to, I can see if it's available on here right now. The form will allow your customers to push tickets in, essentially. So I can say contact us, but I didn't set that up quite yet. But if I go back to the help desk, I can do one other thing, is I can see that this email allows this is an email which I can create support tickets through. So if I actually go to Mitch Bossy here, create, need help, just like that. And I can see one new ticket has already arrived. My dashboard changes now because it's alive. The app is live. But one assigned ticket, open it up. Need help from John Doe Inc. It automatically associates the customer based on the email. I can click on the customer. In the Customer 360, I'm able to now see that I have tickets that I can track as they relate to this customer, right from the contact page. And you're able to, if I want to assign it to me, I can do that. Mitch Bossy assigned it to himself. I can see the the email that John Doe wrote here, and I can respond. Give us 5 min. So now you have, as a dashboard, I can see all my tickets and essentially use a pipeline to track them. Again, the pipeline is going to be defined in the support here. So I can see and manage and track all tickets as they relate to customers. Very helpful tool from a reporting standpoint. You can, of course, measure things like time, how long it took to assign, how long it was open for, things like that. So then you can report metrics to your customers and say, on average, each support ticket that's submitted to us takes 3.25 hours to resolve. If it's just a general support, you can create new support teams, such as maybe you have a technical team, and then of course you specify the email alias here if you want. You can have, again, website forms. That's how you do it. And say that you can track timesheets on tickets if you want to get better visibility into what it's costing you to provide time support services to customers, things like that. And again, it will, if we look at our dashboard, we'll have now a technical team, which we can report on and say for technical tickets, it takes us on average, 2 hours. And that's how you begin to sort of build some sort of, quantitative, analysis or results to share with customers to help boost your competitive strengths. And lastly, if we look at website, now if I go to my website, I can see, and this is, again, you can use the Odoo website builder. I didn't go too much into detail here, but you can drag and drop with our Bootstrap. I know that, I think you said you had a valuable website that you're using today, but in short, you can either use the email alias, or there's now a help tool, which either submit an issue if they want right through here. Help. And send it. Ticket number 2. And as this loads, it will bring me back to the home page. Go to the help desk, and I can see one unassigned ticket in the technical team, because that's the one that I turned the that's what I turned the website form on for. And I can open this and see help from Mitch Bossy, just like that. And there's the note. So that is how I feel that Odoo is best, handled from a service company standpoint. The last thing that I'd want to review with you is timesheets. So you can see all the timesheets and for all the projects that have been submitted here. These are from me, my timesheets. If I want to go to all timesheets, it's going to be the same thing. I can see that here, how much time has been spent per hour per user. And I can also, group by, it's already grouped by project, but group by employee, by project, by task if I want, or timesheet month, just like that. And I can look at it from a month perspective as well. You get a really, get some good overview there. Also look at it from a calendar perspective, just like that, as well as list view. So last, timesheet apps. I'm sure you're working a lot on the fly. If you don't want to have to log time into Odoo each and every moment, what you can do is you can start working on a project just like this. When you're done working, click stop, select I don't have this hooked up, but select the project, select the task you want to associate it to, and save it, and it would automatically feed that time into the line item on the project. And of course it would have implications in terms of reporting for that project. And yeah, that's how that would be handled. And it would be downloadable via the App Store or on Google Play. Also, one other thing is just to show you an idea about Odoo Studio a little bit more. If we look at Odoo Studio, we're able to embed and create relationships around the system, which is a pretty neat function. We can drag and drop, for instance, a many-to-one field, and we can relate it to we'll relate this to a task. Or better yet, we can relate this to a project. So now what I can do is specify here on a ticket the project that a ticket is related to. What will that allow me to do? Well, I see my projects here. It will allow you to track from the project perspective any help desk tickets. So now when I go to my project, if I go to settings for this, I can create a little smart button up here and relate it to tickets. And I can use this. And again, help desk ticket, confirm, just like that. And we'll see there's the ticket that it's related to. Just click of a button, and I can open that up. And again, you can use Studio if you want to change views for this. You can quickly change it. I want to see this in my Kanban view, and you'll be able to see it in the stage view as well. And you can set that as a default if you want. So there's a lot of different options that you have in terms of how you want to use Studio to leverage views and create relationships amongst different records throughout the system, etc. All right, so that's the high-level overview in a nutshell. If you have any questions, or if you are interested in learning more about how you can leverage Odoo version 11 for your services company, feel free to contact me. Happy to put together custom demos or custom workflows to help you best achieve your end results and goals within our system. I can be reached at N as in Nancy, K as in King, O as in Onion. That's NKO @odoo.com. Awesome. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and looking forward to hearing from you.